So let me give you a basic contrast here. So I'll come to this here. Okay. Thank you. So, before first we will be try to understand a simple if. Okay. And after this one, then we'll talk about the if else. Then we talk about else if. Then we talk about nested ifs. Okay. And then we'll come to the switch. So that this would be the hierarchy of your learning. So then it would be very simple to understand. Okay. So now if so now let me try to type here and then show so that it would be very easy for you showing the eclipse. Okay. So it takes certain time to open for the eclipse. If always you need to remember that when you are using the if, so it was purely talking from a condition. See, now we are saying that if I'm free today, then I'll join with you for a party. Or if I'm free today, I'll join with you for a movie. Means you're telling a condition that if you're free, then you'll be joining for that. Right? So always, so now this is called conditional statements. Okay? Because we have looping statements, so which it comes later. This is conditional statements. So everything works on condition. So the first thing is if, a simple if. Now, if A is greater than B, okay, this is the condition. If A is greater than the B, now this is called if body or if block. Okay, the braces which it start from this particular if it is closes here, so then this is called if block. Now in the if block, what it will try to check is whether this particular condition is true, whether this condition is true or false. If condition is true, then it will enter. If condition is false, it will never enter into this particular body. Always you need to remember. So because while writing the condition, you are checking that, hey, if this condition satisfies, then only it should execute this particular body. If condition was not satisfied, then it is not really required to execute for this particular body. So that is where the if works. Simple if. Now, if condition is not satisfied, if it is true, and here you have another option also, either it's a single condition or multiple conditions that you can do. So multiple conditions means you would be adding and, or you would be adding or. So with these particular conditions, so you would be checking these particular statements. There would be law, means I'm telling you, right? Even we have been written the conditions like 5-6 conditions, and then we have been checked if all these conditions satisfy, then only it need to come into this. So when you go for we have been automated for one of the casino table. So which is a means casino, for that one we will have a roulette. So one of the possible combinations we need to check. So when we have that particular possible combinations, we used to write multiple combinations on this. So you need to see now, at least if you've been practiced with 3 conditions with a different flavor. So it means you need to give 3 conditions like A is greater than B and B is greater than uh, C, then B is greater than D. So these all and conditions or conditions. If you have been practiced with multiple conditions, then you can understand how this particular logic works. Means you need to come here true, 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 or true, false, false. So how this will work. So these all conditions you need to check. It is very simple, right? So now you can write A equal to 100 to B equal to 200, C equal to 150 and D equal to 200. So now when you have been given it, so giving these values and validating it, whether in the if blocks, you can play for this one. So this is how we need to give an example. So don't feel that, hey, I don't have an example, so where I need to get these examples. You define this
So
one. It's a
sorry to
very simple.
interrupt. Screen is not visible.
Oh,
You
really?
could
For
say only
everyone?
the pop-up icon.
No,
Is it
sir,
same
your
for?
screen
No,
is
sir, it's
visible.
invisible, sir.
Recheck from yourself. Okay. So then what I'll write means when what it means based upon these particular conditions, it will be entering into this particular if body. So then it will execute. Now, if this condition is true, then it will enter here, right? Now, if the condition is false, what it will do, it will go to the else part. Now, this is called else body or else block. This is if block. This will be called as if block. When someone says that, hey, go and check in your if block, then you need to come to this block and then you need to check this. And whenever you wanted to go for else block, this is the else block. Else block start from this braces to this braces. So now this particular block is what it checks the complete else block. And this is what if block. So now if the condition is true, it checks this particular block. If condition is false, then it will check this particular block. So that is what the basic differences between the if and if else. See, in simple if, you will not have the else block. Majority we use multiple nested ifs. We will not have the else blocks. And see, when we have the else block, see, sometimes we may not have the else block at all. It is not mandatory that we need to have an else block. You need to do this. See, for an example, I have vacation for 3 days. Now, when I have a vacation for 3 days, if I get the flight ticket for Agati Islands, then I'll book for Agati. If I don't get the tickets for the Agati, then I'll go for Varkala. See, means I have two options, means either this or this. So if I have only one options, then I'll not have the else block at all. When I have two options, then I should use the else block, or else I'll not use the else. It all depends. Or else, at least it is a practice that, hey boss, I don't means you have only one option, but still you keep the else block and say that this is not possible. Okay, fine. So even that else block we will keep it, and then just we will say that, hey boss, I dropped my plan. So this is what we will be keeping into the else block. So as a recommended coding practices, use this if else, and even if it is a single option, also keep an else block saying that this is not happening, so that we can clearly know that if this is not executed, it will go directly to that else block and then it will go. But if you feel that it is making too much complexity, just you need to go ahead with this. Means if you have two options, means either this or this, if I wanted to plan it, so then at that point of time, I'll be using this particular simple if. If it is not, then it will go with the if else. Now, what is else if? So now this we need to remember, if else means I'll be having if and else block, means if block and else block. But if I have means if I'm calling it as else if means if else if else. See, last time you remember means now when we are discussing in the switch, we have been discussed about the default, right? So this is what the default. And see, now first we check this condition. For example, now if you score more than, okay, you have the marks, right? If you are scoring the marks more than 75%, then this is means marks greater than 75%, then print distinction. And if the marks is more than 60%, print first class. And once again, else if the marks is greater than 45%, then this is second class. And if marks is greater than 40, then this is third class. And else failed. You can give here, right? So now if any of these conditions is not satisfied, by default in the else, it will go to this and then it will make failure. So this is how we will be writing it, right? But here you can write multiple conditions for this. greater than 75 and less than 100, less than or equal to 100. And always you need to remember, always the people will say that they will give this greater than less than, but always you need to remember that you need to make sure that equal to less than equal to greater than equal to. So whether you, if you are giving it properly or not, check that condition. Now when you are starting here, now this is less than or greater than or equal to 60 and less than or equal to 74. So now this means, because here you're giving 74 equal to, and here it shouldn't be not there. So now if you're giving an equal to, you have to be very much cautious. If you're not giving equal to, then you can give here 75, because that particular thumb line number, for example, now you have given here is greater than equal to 75, and here you have been given 75. Now what would be the output if I given the 75? What it will happen? See, if I given the marks greater than or equal to 75, and here less than or equal to 75. Now, if I given the marks as a 75, will it print me the distinction or will it print me the first class?
Error will come. Error message.
See, these are the edge cases which, see, now these are the things which it will go wrong for the developers. So now these are the things which you need to check it from your code. So try it tomorrow and then keep me posted what the error messages you'll be getting it. Okay, so now we have to be very much cautious when you're writing these particular edge cases. So now what you need to do is, here it should be less than or equal to 75, or it is, if you given it, so now what is the difference between a marks greater than 75, marks less than or okay, greater than or equal to 75. Now what it would be happen here and what it would be happen here?
The first case, it will try to find
Including the
76.
72 or excluding the 2.
See, very simple. Here in this case, it would be exclude. Please go on mute. It here it would be excluded, and here it would be included. So excluded and included, because here we have been given equal to, greater than or equal to. Here it is greater than 75. So in these particular cases, this will not match. So you have to be very much cautious when you're giving these particular statements over here. So this is how else if we will be giving it. And here you can have multiple conditions. Multiple conditions you can give it. And then you can write this. And last default, you can write it as a fail. Means if any of this, means now how this execution will run, first it will come, means first it will take this particular marks, right? First it will come here and it will check this marks. This failed. Then now what would happen? It will not execute this if block. And it will come to this condition. This will check this condition. This also fails. Then it will not execute this else if block. So this is if block and this is else block. This is else if block. Now this else if also will not work. Now once again it will come to this else if. Now here it will check this particular condition. This condition also failed. Then now it will not check this particular else if block. Then once again it will come to this condition. And in this condition also this is failed. Now this will also not execute this. Then it will go to the else block and then it will execute it. The execution will go in this particular pattern. Got it? So now by this itself, you need to understand what is the advantage of a switch.
We cannot use a switch here. Am I right, sir?
No, absolutely. See, in this particular, for an example, you need to understand one point thoroughly, Durga. So when it comes to the switch, what it will try to do is, for an example, now I have been given it, okay, why we can't use switch here? Anyone can answer this. This is one of the important factor. Where do you choose switch? Where to switch else if?
Can I, sir?
In the case,
From what I read, sir, can I, sir?
Go ahead.
Because there is a range included here, so we cannot use switch. That is, you give from 75 to 100.
Where I
means
given
in the
the
case
75 to 100.
condition, sir.
So
We
the
can't.
marks we are giving, marks
See,
should be
now
greater
this
than
is
or equal
not
to 7.
range. This is condition, right? This
Okay.
is, see now, what is the condition I have been given? If, okay, marks greater than or equal to 75 and marks less than or equal to 100. If this condition, then it print me the distinction. That's why so. So now this is not range. This is condition from this condition to this condition. So now you're telling that 75 to 100 is a range. So now that methods are different, but this is a condition, right? So this from this condition to this condition. Okay. If you're talking this as a range also, I don't mind. But first of all, you need to understand when you say the differences for the switch statement, the basic difference is what it will happen is switch never takes conditions. See now here, if you given
Okay.
this one as m greater than equal to 75 and I have m less than equal to 100. Now this can't take this condition. This will take only the static value.
Data values, yeah, static
Yes,
data values.
values. Only it will take that. So that is what the difference is. When you have this particular conditions based upon the conditions you need to check, then definitely you should go with this one. But if you have a static value saying that, hey, for an example, now I'll give a simple example. So real-time example, how we use very frequently in our automation frameworks is I wanted to execute this complete code into uh, Chrome browser or a Safari browser, Opera browser. So now these are the things which I wanted to see it, right? Now, how I'll write the code is, so I'll be writing that as str browser equal to Chrome. Okay, so now I'll take this as a switch. In this one, I'll write as str browser. Now, when I start this, now this is called switch block. Okay, go to your switch block means here from where the brace is started from the switch and ends. So this complete block is called as a switch block. Now here I'll be writing it as case 1, which it is, okay, which it is Safari. Okay. Now in this one, I'll be printing it as, I'll say that I am opening Safari. Okay. So now I wanted to give the break for the execution. Now case 2, I want to execute Firefox. Now same sysout, I'll be kicking that I am in FF. So now case 3, I'll keep this one as Chrome and sysout I am in Chrome and I'll close it and default. And is it mandatory that I need to keep default every time? Is it mandatory that I need to keep default every time?
Optional,
Optional, sir. No, sir.
according to our requirements.
See, what I'm feeling is you people are not seeing the videos. See, it is not saying that, hey boss, you need to see my videos and you need to like, subscribe, share. I'm not at all asking it. You see, don't see, it doesn't really matter. But I'm saying that you go and see, there are multiple market top leaders are there. Go and see those videos so that you can understand it very well, right? They explain much more better than me. So you can go and follow Naveen Reddy videos. So that guy Awesome. And then you can go ahead with KK Karthik. And you can Mukesh Utwani or Raghav Pal, Naresh. These guys are market toppers. I'm not asking you to see these particular videos. Go and see these videos. They explain this particular switch statements very well. So that when you go through that particular video and try to implement it, and when I start once again explaining this one, so that this would be very easy for you to remember. And when you're practicing it, so you can remember it for a very longer. The best part is if you wanted to remember for a very long time, train others. When you start training others, you will remember it for a very long time. Even I'll be not using day-to-day life. I'm not writing the codes now. Everyone will forget if someone is not using every day. But when you start to train someone, you remember it for a very, very long time compared to all the learning methods. So try this. So go see the videos. So if you've seen that particular videos and coming back for today's session, probably you may not have these questions at all. Because in the previous videos, we had discussing about the same, this particular patterns. Okay, so however, I don't want to waste the time here. So let me continue. So this is how. So now what it will happen is, first it will take the value, and what it will do is, it will directly jump into this particular case. So it will not go. So now this is the value we have it, right? We will not take this value and compare these two. Hey, if it is not this case, then go to this case, then no. It will not do in that particular way. It will not do checking each and every case. What the advantage of this one is? This is Chrome. Directly it will jump into this particular Chrome case and it will start executing this. Now, as I don't given the break statement here, so immediately this will execute the default also. So break will stop you. So I told you, right? So when you're going in a car, you will break it. So when you brake, the car will stop. If you don't brake, you'll go and hit the other car or whatever it is in front of you, you'll hit them. Right? So that is a reason. So now this particular break statement is mandatory. Now, if you don't give the break, so for an example, now here, if I have not given the break and this match this particular statement, so that it will print this until it find the break, it will go and execute every statement. Now, if matched here, then the execution comes here, and then from here it will start printing it. It will go and print all. So there is 3 statements we'll be having it. So break, continue, break, continue. What is the other
Jump.
keyword? Huh?
Jump.
Written, sir.
Written, and those things are other keywords. Okay, when you go for your loops, means now we are in conditionals, right? So when you go for your loops, so there you will see this particular break and continue. I remember one more keyword also, but I'm not able to get that. Let's wait and then see it. Exit also. So now this will exit from the particular thing. But however, this we will not use it. These are the 2 things, but another topic which it is there. However, in the loops, when we are talking about it, I'll see, because very long back I have been seeing those particular things. Now, I think I need to prepare for the sessions. I'll see, and then I'll come back to the sessions. Okay, fine. So this is how this particular switch statement will work. Now, where to use what? See, now you have a needle and you have a knife and you have a sword. So you should know where to use what. See, when you're stitching a cloth, you shouldn't bring a sword and then stitch it. Or when you are cooking a particular food, so for cutting the vegetables, you shouldn't use needle or a big sword. Or when you're going for a particular war, you shouldn't go with a needle. Everything will have a specific utilization, usage. And it is important at that point of time. Needle is also important, sword is also important, and it have its own importance. At this point of time, needle only can sustain this one. Sword can't do. Even though if you have a sword, nothing we can do. Even in the kitchen, if you have a knife, that sustains, not with a needle or not with a sword. So you need to understand that where I should use the switch, where I should use else if. So else ifs would be used only when you have conditions, and then that conditions based, you are checking it. You're not left with an option to go ahead with this. But when you just come to the switch statement, else if statements, switch statements, it would be having a standard variable value, static value. So based upon the static value only, it will check. So here, don't try to give the condition. You try giving the condition and check on this. It will not work. So conditional based validations will be not happen in the switch statement. That is the reason you can't use the switch in that scenarios. But if it is a stagnant value, so for an example, I told you, right, if the browser equal to this, here you shouldn't write this else if. This is wrong. Many of the, by seeing this particular code, we can understand that, hey, this guy doesn't understand what is the difference between a switch statement and then else if statement. You tell me, see, now this is designed. Just give me 1 second. This is designed for the conditional statements, and this is designed for static values statements. Now, instead of switch, you shouldn't use else if. Instead of else if, you shouldn't use a switch. Actually, this case, it will fail, because when you wanted to use instead of switch else if, here when you start to write the condition, this is a syntax error, so it will not allow you to do this at all. So this will fail. But what it will do is, instead of switch, people write many a times else if. This is not a syntactical error. So that's the reason it will allows you. But this will be a performance issue. Hey, I can write it in this way also, right? What is the problem? It is a performance issue, right? See, now if I have 10 validate 10 conditions and the default value it need to print, I need to wait for executing of these 10 statements, and then it need to come to the default. Means default else if, default else. But here directly it will check and then it will put into this one. It will not check every case. How it will happen? That really doesn't really required for us, as I told you, right? So that will happen in the backend of Java, so that they will take care of it. Okay, so this is how you need to understand simple if, else if else, and nested if else. So now, for example, you always remember nested switches there. Most of the time we need to use this nested switches. Now, tell me a real-time scenario where probably we used. We have multiple situations it will come. Where it will come for the multiple situations is, I'll give you with this particular compatibility testing itself. In compatibility testing, we will have a lot of these issues we'll be getting it. See now, first of all, I wanted to make execution type. Okay, str execution type. Now here, my execution type is, what is execution type means? I wanted to execute web mobile API. Now I wanted to execute with the mobile. Let me take this one as a mobile. If I am working with this one, also I'll change. Now here, switch. Okay, here, str execution type. So now I'll be using it as a case web. Okay, I'll be writing it as sysout. I am executing web. Okay, work. So now case 2, I'm executing with mobile. Okay, so now here I'm executing, I am executing mobile. Now in this particular mobile itself, I have two platforms. What is that one is? Here I'll be writing it as str mobile OS equal to iOS. So now when I have been given this one, I'll come here. Now once again, I need to write another switch inside this. Switch str mobile OS. So now here case iOS SYSO. I am executing iOS. So now another case Android and sys art. So I am executing Android. And here what I'll try to do, and I wanted to keep the default SO as having problem in execution of mobile. Execution mobile. I have written this is default. Now means if you see here, my switch is here in this particular in this case block of mobile. Now I'll go for case API and sys dot I'm executing API and then break. So this is how I'll end. Now if you see here, first of all, it will take this value and check whether it need to execute web mobile API. Now, then I'll see that, hey, I wanted to execute for mobile. Now, when I'm starting the mobile, I'm printing that, hey, I'm executing mobile now. Once again, I'll go to a nested switch and see that, hey, I need to execute it for iOS or Android. If it is iOS, then I'll go and then execute this. Because for this one, I have a set of instructions which I need to invoke. And when I Android, I have a set of instructions to invoke. The similar pattern when it goes to the web. So inside a switch, another switch will be writing it. So for example, I wanted to execute the Chrome. I wanted to execute the Firefox. Everything means a switch inside a switch, a switch inside a switch. So at least you need to know the 3 levels of nested so then you can understand it well. Even in the for loops also, at least now if you go for 3 levels, that would be really awesome so that you can understand looping how it will goes. Even nested conditions also you should go for 3 levels. If one level is failing, so how it is coming out from this? How is this coming from out from this? So that those all things will be you will be understanding. You will break your heads, right? Because you might miss some statement, break statements. These all things will execute. Sometimes it will not execute. So now you need to know that how to debug your code line by line. Then you can understand these things. So this is how you should take care of your switch statements and else if statements and using this particular default statements so that it can help you on this. Okay, so what I wanted to see you for tomorrow's is, so I wanted to see this particular nested switches executed and then you create this one. And what I'll try to give you a quick thing is create a video. Okay, 1 minute video. In this 1 minute video, you write the program and you will explain that particular program. Just 1 minute. We have this 1 minute videos, right? Just because if you write it and record it and then keep it, you wanted to publish it, you publish it. If you don't want it to publish, you stop it. It doesn't really matter. But what it makes you to do is, so it will help you if you wanted to prepare a video, then you will record it and do it for more than 5 to 10 times at least 4 times, so that you can remember this topic for a very longer time. Okay, do it on. Now, what you can do is you have 7 teams, right? So now 7 teams, you divided each topic here. Okay, so in this particular,
So there are 8 teams, I guess.
okay, so whoever means if it is 8 teams, also fine. So let's take this particular topics. Now, what are the things I wanted to see it is variables. One team can take it. Variables in the data type. Typecasting, one team. Operators, one team. Strings, one team. Math, one team. Math and then booleans, one team. Because strings is a huge topic, right? They can means one team can take on. And math and booleans, one team. In if all ifs, you can take one team. Switch, one team. So create that particular videos as a team, and which is the best video, you can give it to us. So from each topic, you create that videos. So video and audio, so both should be there. So now actually, if you wanted to have the references, you have this guy, right? Jash Nas Daily. So that guy's videos you can refer just for a minute. So within a minute, how you can see now you take that content only for 1 minute. Now, for example, for a string. So take 2-3 topics. What is Java strings? And then how it can be helpful for you. So now prepare that particular strings on this and then show it. And especially from the team, so the QB team who are here, I was really surprised. I think Kiran has been shared this particular link on creating this, but none of you people has been done on this one, and he informed me on this. It was really surprising for me that you people has been not done on that. Why? Why you people are not participating in that? Okay, you might be too much busy, but still, I just wanted to know why it is not happening. Okay, so today, Shushma, Ramila, Maithili, these people not joined. Okay, cool, fine. So now tomorrow, what I wanted to see it is, so you just you take these particular topics and you create this one. So whichever's the best video, so they will get means that particular team would be a winner team. So I think I'll let Nopina to give evaluate and then give the prizes for them. And then if you want it, we can publish that particular videos if you want it. If you say that I don't want to do this, absolutely fine. We will not share your video. So you can follow that videos and then you can do that. And for your references, many videos are also there. We kept it. And this is just for the knowledge sharing. And here we are not able to get means we are not trying to get anything revenue or anything out of this your videos or anything. So just to when you start to doing this one, so you can create multiple videos which it can help you means which it can be helpful for someone who is looking likely. Say for example, now in this situation, how you are looking for some knowledge quest from the people. The same way, who are the people looking for that? So they can refer for these videos. And when we are going for the interviews, at that point of time, it would be a quick references for you to go through this particular 1-minute videos on these topics. And if some of the team is taking some strings, so you should know what methods they are taking it. So the video shouldn't be duplicated. So that is how you can create on that. Okay. So use today for this particular creation of the videos, and this would be like a teamwork. Not individuals can do this one. Every team need to be coordinated with each other and create that 1-minute video. For creating that 1-minute video, at least take it 1 hour. Take your topic, prepare that video, share it, and then discuss according to your teams. Hey, you talk about strings, and then you talk about the casting, widening casting with an example, or narrow casting with an example. So you can talk about the data types. So with these examples, so that is how you need to share it and then do it and then present it back. Okay. So we will see that one, and if you really if you are okay, then we'll push that one into the for the general public audience to see that particular videos also. Okay, I wanted everyone to prepare at least one video. It is not restricted that if you want to do 2-3 videos, it's up to you. But at least one video you should prepare this and then you need to show it to us. Okay, and then practice this nested switch and then come back to us. So here what we have been done is till now we have been completed here. And tomorrow I'll talk about the strings, and then from where we will be starting with this particular loops. Okay, so that is for today. Any questions, any pointers?